Hi, today we're going to talk about the political movement Antifa. So first off, it is short for anti-fascist. And Antifa is unique that it is a loosely organized, decentralized movement. There is no absolute leadership. And as we'll get into the history of it, you'll see that it kind of is impossible for it to have one solid leadership. When did the political movement begin? So, Antifa starts in Italy after Mussolini takes control of Italy. And what we're going to see is some iconography that starts here with Italy get used later on in the future. So, we start with the bundle of the sticks with the hatchet, and this is kind of a symbol for fascism. So when we see it later on, we'll understand that that is the opposite of the Antifa group or anti-fascists. And since we're talking about, these are some of the more well-known Antifa logos and symbols. Why did this political movement develop? Antifa movement developed in response to the rise of fascism back in Italy during World War II, during 1919 through the 1922, which is when Mussolini became the prime minister of Italy and eventually dictator. So until his death, was Mussolini in charge of Italy. And him and Hitler had a couple of meetings where Hitler enjoyed some of the ideas from the fascist government and took them, incorporated them into his campaigns. Later on, in the 80s and 90s, there is a rise of fascism, but more like anti-neo-Nazi and anti-white supremacy that comes around. And so that is then where we get to the modern day of Antifa fighting against groups like the Proud Boys and the Patriot Front. Another one of the logos for Antifa is just this simple A by itself for Antifa. Some also claim that it's for anarchy because of the strong fighting back. Here you can see on this banner the double flags and the A on the same banner for an Antifa protest. How has this movement impacted the United States today? I would say that with the rise of hate groups and far-right extremism, that Antifa has kind of gained more followers because of the idea that you have to, if you're going to go out and protest or have a sit-in, that's not the argument here. What is when that's happening and then other groups from the alt-right, the Proud Boys, the Patriot Front, neo-Nazi groups show up to stop those peaceful protests. And so since those groups don't have the ability to protect themselves, that's where far left groups like Antifa get support. How has this movement contributed to the field of ethnic studies? I would say Antifa's actions highlight the interconnectedness of various social justice issues, promoting discussions about how race, class, gender, and sexual interests all come together, and that this intersectional approach is central to ethnic studies because it encourages scholars to analyze how different identities shape experience or the experience of oppression. So Antifa is a political movement with this very interesting history where it kind of jumps countries and crosses through time, but has kind of always remained a left-wing, anti-fascist, anti-racist political movement. Thank you very much.